Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kylie if you're new, and today, ooh baby, I'm gonna be ranking the performances of all the actors that played Michael.
Hi, this is future editing Kylie. I just wanted to let you guys know real quick before I jumped into the video that I'm actually gonna be a guest on a podcast called Our Hollywood. It's a really cool podcast that was started by a couple of my peers. One of them I went to film school with, and they talk about a variety of topics like how COVID is affecting the movie industry, the feminism of final girls. It's kind of all across the board, and I got to be a guest on their episode about horror at the Oscars. I'm super excited about it. Definitely check out their Instagram page, follow them. That podcast with me as a guest star will be coming out today, so that's super cool. I just wanted to shout them out before I started the video. Okay, bye.
Before we start though, I want to give a very brief history of Michael and all the actors that played him. So in Halloween 1978, we see young Michael Myers played by Will Sandon, with Deborah Hill stepping in as the hand on the knife, while adult Michael was played by Nick Castle, with Tony Moran as the unmasked version. But Tommy Lee Wallace and James Winburn actually stepped in for some of the stunts. In Halloween 2 in 1981, they used professional stuntman Dick Warlock for Michael Myers, while Adam Gunn played him as a child. In Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers in 1988, we saw George P. Wilbur and Tom Morga share the role of Michael, while young Michael was played by Eric Preston. In Halloween 5... This mask, oh my god. In Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, we were introduced to Don Shanks as Michael Myers and the Man in Black. In Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers in 1995, we brought back George P. Wilbur as Michael, but reshoots added a Michael Lerner to the role as well. For Halloween H2O 20 years later, we saw Chris Durand take on the role of Michael Myers. In Halloween Resurrection, they brought on Brad Laurie as Michael Myers, who was a professional stuntman. In Rob Zombie's Halloween, they introduced Daeg Faerch as young Michael, while retired wrestler Tyler Mane played the adult killer. And in Halloween 2, they brought back Tyler Mane as the adult Michael Myers yet again, while Chase Wright Vanek stepped in to replace Faerch as young Michael. In Halloween 2018, they introduced stuntman James Jude Courtney as Michael Myers, while also bringing back Nick Castle to his iconic role. Another person who played Michael Myers actually played him in Halloween Night, the fan-made Halloween movie. His name was John Shilling, and I will be including him on my ranking list, because I also included Halloween Night in my Halloween franchise ranking video as well. And I will not be including the child actors that played Michael because I just don't think that they're that relevant to this topic. I'm talking about masked Michael, the guy in the jumpsuit, the guy that wields the knife. I'm not really talking about the children. Although I know that young Michael wields the knife as well. I mean, credit where credit is due, but I just didn't want to include them on this ranking list. I'm also not including the stuntmen that stepped in because there's just no way to know like which scenes they actually did. So all respect to them as well. I don't think that stunt people get nearly the credit that they deserve. They should win Oscars for the work they do, honestly. But alas, they will not be on this list either. So I have 9 men to rank as the Michaels. It's crazy that so many people have played Michael Myers, especially when you consider the Friday the 13th franchise. I mean, I know they had a ton of Jasons, but Kane Hodder was Jason for 4 straight movies. Irrelevant. Anyways, also just to preface, I think that everyone that played Michael had talent. There's just various reasons why I prefer some more than others. These are all very personal reasons. It's no shade to any of the actors. None at all. So number 9 on this list is the man from Halloween 5, Don Shanks. But here's the thing. I don't think it's entirely Don Shanks' fault, and I'm also kind of ranking the Michaels themselves. You know, I'll be taking into account their mask and things like that. So this one's not entirely Don Shanks' fault. We literally open the movie with Michael just careening down a river. It makes it seem like Michael has this mortality because he's kind of just flailing down this river, and then he has to like heal for a while. Then he has a terrible mask. I hated the mask in this movie. And unfortunately, those elements just kind of like really took away from Michael for me, and if Don Shanks had a strong performance, it just didn't shine through as much because the mask looked so terrible, and overall it just wasn't one of my favorite Halloween movies. So those factors come into play. That was just my least favorite Michael. Number 8 on this list is Dick Warlock from Halloween 2 in 1981. He goes at number 8 on this list because after watching the original and then watching the sequel right afterwards, it was just very evident that it wasn't the same Michael. He didn't have the same grace and same agility in his movements. He was like slightly awkward, just didn't have the same je ne sais quoi as the original Michael Myers, you know what I mean? So just kind of let down after part 1. Not bad though, because that is still one of my favorite Halloween movies, but just not the best. I also recall him looking physically quite a bit smaller than the other Michaels, which didn't help. Moving on to number 7, and that would have to be Brad Laurie from Halloween Resurrection. He's a professional stuntman. I actually think that his performance was pretty good. Unfortunately, it was just overshadowed by how terrible the movie was, and you just didn't get a ton of Michael in this movie. You know, there were some good kills. His only real moment to shine was in the beginning with Laurie, but other than that, he was just so overshadowed by the 2000s cultural barf storm that was Halloween Resurrection. And it's sad because if that movie hadn't completely killed the franchise at that point, he said he would have reprised his role as Michael Myers again. So I feel bad for him, and just because he's number 7 on this list didn't mean I didn't enjoy his performance. It was just overshadowed. So moving on to number 6, and that would actually have to go to John Shilling.
Hi, I'm editing. It's John Shilling. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry, John Shilling.
From Halloween Night, the fan-made Halloween movie. I don't think he's actually a stuntman. I could be mistaken, but this was JP's directorial debut. This was a lot of people's first movies, okay? And yet somehow he was able to perfectly capture the essence of Michael. He had the deliberate movements, you know, and he walked with such stillness, such grace, such deliberation. He definitely pulled off that ethereal vibe that Nick Castle introduced us to in the original. He just exceeded one of my expectations, and I love Halloween Night a great deal more than some of the other sequels. See my ranking video from last week if you want to know what I'm talking about, because I think you might be surprised where the fan-made film falls on my ranking list. Moving on to number 5, my top 5 Michael Myers performances. Number 5 would have to go to George P. Wilbur, who starred in Halloween 4 and Halloween 6. This man is a talent. He doesn't have the same type of grace, but he is very much a presence because he is one of the larger Michaels that we have. He's a big dude, he's built, he commands attention when he's on the screen. I really liked his performance. And there is a reason why they brought him back. He is one of the only Michaels to come back a second time. Him, Nick Castle, and Tyler Mane are actually the only people to play Michael Myers more than once. My favorite scene with him also has to be the moment when he shoved the shotgun through that girl and like stuck her to the door. Great moment. And I also think that he best exemplified his Michael energy in the scene where he was having a fight with that teenage boy at the top of the staircase. That was great and beautifully shot. I talked about that in my review of that movie though. Go watch that video. But he's an excellent Michael, definitely earned his place in my top 5. Number 4 might be surprising to some of my subscribers, but it's actually Tyler Mane from the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. I know I hate those movies. Well, I feel all types of ways about the first Rob Zombie Halloween movie. I'm conflicted. But I gotta admit, Tyler Mane, standing at 6'8", was a presence. He was a very strong Michael. Plus the mask in that movie was super gritty and looked really good. But then again, even if he wasn't playing Michael Myers, Tyler Mane himself is just a very menacing force on the screen. Didn't need any type of tricks to make him look larger. So that was definitely an advantage that he had going for him, but also his movements, he was so menacing. So that is why he has earned his place in my top 4, even if I think the movies are collective garbage. Number 3 on this list, again, I might be surprising you, but it's actually Chris Durand from Halloween H2O. I think he's such an underrated Michael. I felt like he exuded a lot of energy, and you don't always need that from a Michael. You know, sometimes just the stoic grace and stillness is enough. But in this movie, the plotline follows a Michael who has finally tracked down his sister after 20 years, and that definitely comes through. I'm not totally a fan of the fact that the mask has like really big holes and you can like see his eyes, but it does help translate the emotion when he makes eye contact with Laurie. Because of the plot and the fact that they're siblings and he's finally found her, like it's a really intense moment. So when they first lock eyes, I do actually think it's beneficial that you can see his eyes. I don't love it for the rest of the movie because it really only works when they're making eye contact, but whatever. I just really like the way that he moved. So moving on to my top 2, my number 2, don't be mad. My number 2 is Nick Castle, our original Michael Myers. I know, he's not number 1, I know. Here's the thing. Iconic. Credit where credit is due. He created Michael. He defined what the essence of Michael was. Yes. But in Halloween 2018, James Jude Courtney embodied that mystery vibe while simultaneously bringing such a menacing energy on screen. Another actor that I guess comes close to his deliberate movements would be Tyler Mane, but I think James Jude Courtney did a better job than Tyler Mane at being menacing. I cannot express to you enough how well I feel like James Jude Courtney moved. And he apparently consulted with real life serial killers to make his performance more believable, and I think that paid off. There was just no hesitation. There was no shakiness. Everything about his movements were so strong and deliberate. He just was able to move from point A to point B no hiccups. He did the damn thing. This is kind of a hard thing to explain. I hope that like conceptually this is coming across what I'm trying to tell you. But to be able to embody the essence of the original Michael while simultaneously breathing a new life into it, and the fact that it's an older Michael. I mean, James Jude Courtney is 63. You just don't expect people in their 60s to move like that. I also think it probably has to do with some of his makeup and the fact that like he was missing an eye and we kind of saw his crazy scars and stuff. I loved the look of him as well. The mask in this movie was also excellent. It was supposed to be an aged version of the original from the 1978 movie, and I think they totally pulled that off. I thought he looked amazing. I just love what he was able to emote even with the mask on. I love the moment when he runs into the children on the sidewalk and then he just slowly looks up, turns to look at the house, and then, you know, makes his way down there. The silent deliberation. I cannot praise him enough. I cannot commend him enough. And he's returning for Halloween Kills, which is just so exciting. I cannot wait to see what he does in Halloween Kills. I think that Nick Castle is apparently also returning as well, but I don't know how involved he'll be since he was only in a couple scenes of Halloween 2018. We will just have to see. So I'm really interested to know your guys' rankings down below. I feel like with the Halloween movies, that was kind of a predictable video, but for this one, your preferences with Michael, I feel like can be totally across the board. I feel like everyone has different preferences when it comes to Michael, so I'm very curious to know your rankings. Please drop those down below. Also check out my other Halloween videos. I cannot believe that my Halloween series is almost coming to an end, although it's kind of fitting since it'll be the last week of October.
Hi, it's me again. So I'm about to mention that my next week's video is going to be talking about all the stuff I failed to mention during my Halloween series. Next week is actually going to be the top kills of the whole Halloween franchise. That'll be my best kills video, and then next week after that will be what she's about to talk about.
But for my next video, my work is cut out for me because I have to go back and look through all of my old Halloween videos, look at all the comments, and see what you guys brought up that I failed to mention in my videos. Because there were a lot of topics that I could have covered, but I just like forgot about them or didn't include them in my videos. So that will all be contained in next week's video. It'll be called something like what I should have talked about during my Halloween series, so hopefully you guys tune in for that. This week also on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing my ranking of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I'm so pumped for that. Been doing a lot of rankings recently. And then next week, that series will also be coming to a close. I cannot believe it. But that concludes this ranking list. If you want to follow me on social media, my Instagram, Twitter, Depop, and Letterboxd are all at Kai Johns. On Depop, I'm currently selling some movies, so check that out if you're interested. On Instagram, I always let you guys know what movies I'm watching so you can watch them as well, just in case I do a review of them soon. Letterboxd is where I talk about movies that I don't intend on reviewing on this channel, and Twitter is mainly for activism, but it's kind of all over the place. It is whatever I want it to be. So on that note, definitely check out the petitions, the GoFundMe's linked down below. I update those every single week. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope I catch you in the next one. Bye!